Today I want to talk about being decisive. Being decisive is very masculine, and avoiding making decisions and not taking responsibility when we're in a position when we need to make a decision is not very masculine. So I want to give some examples of within relationship where being decisive can actually help your woman feel like she's married to a man. So here are a few examples. So the two of you are going out for a dinner party and your wife says to you, hun, I'm not sure which dress to wear. Do you think I should wear this one or do you think I should wear that one? And the choice of two. You think they're both nice and you're trying to, be nice to her. So you say, I think you look great in both of them. Whichever one you decide, great. Guys, that is not very masculine. Being masculine is to make a decision. She wants to hear from you, which dress do you want me to wear? So saying, either that one or that one, that's fine, that's great. Not very good. Make a decision and really, make that decision and say, honey, I think you look great in both of them, but I'd really love it if you wear that one. Then she's going to feel like, wow, my husband wants me to wear that one. That's the one I'm going to feel good in. And that's great. You've made a decision. Another example, you're both going out for dinner tonight. Your wife asks you, honey, where do you want to go out for dinner? Where would you like to go? And the husband responds, where would you like to go? He actually thinks he's doing her a favor by putting the ball in her court and saying, where do you want to go? I'm easy, whatever you want to do. But it's actually not very manly. Being a man is being decisive, meaning, I'd like to go, if you're asking me, I'd like to go Chinese. I'd like to go to this specific restaurant. But if you'd prefer to go Mexican, Italian, whatever, I'm easy, but I really would like to go to this specific restaurant tonight. That is being decisive. That is making a decision and within the relationship, and that is giving direction. And that is what a woman is looking for. Another example where men kind of are a bit wishy-washy. Just an example that off the top of my head. Your wife's staying late at work. Normally she gets a ride home with someone that works with her. And they're driving past the house, literally. So she gets a ride with them. But today she's working late. And therefore she phones you and says, I'm going to be leaving work a couple of hours late. I'm going to miss my ride. Would it be okay for you can you come and pick me up from work? Now for you, you've got a deadline. You're also working late today because you're trying to fulfill this deadline. But you don't want to let your wife down. She wants you to come and pick her up. And there's this dilemma going on inside of you. Like, I don't want to let my wife down, but, I've got this deadline. I'm trying to get this work done. So you kind of have this inward battle, but bottom line, it's your wife. You're trying to please her. You're trying to come towards her. So you say, okay, I'll put my work to the side. I'll come out and get her. It's going to take me half an hour to go there, pick her up and bring her back. But okay. And then you do it. And what's going on inside you? Constant resentment. Constant resentment. Is it worth it? If you're going to feel that constant resentment afterwards, say, you know what? I'll cover an Uber. Order yourself a cab. I will cover it. And this, by the way, brings us to another point that I think is very, very important in relationships. And that is to have separate bank accounts. When you have separate bank accounts, if your wife's working, her money goes into her bank account. That's her money. You're working, your money goes into your bank account. you can discuss how much of your wife's salary goes into your bank account every month to pay the rent, the mortgage, you know, cover the school fee, whatever it is. There needs to be an agreement. But to have a joint account where all the money is pooled, very often today, women feel that they want control over the money. They want to know what's going on. And therefore, when a guy says to his wife, you know what, get a cab and I'll pay for it. You can't really do that when it's a joint bank account. She doesn't feel like you're covering it. But when you have a separate bank account, you can say to your wife, you know what, get a cab, I'll cover it. And that is going to make you feel like you are the man of the house. That is really going to help you to also not feel that resentment that, you know, you're taking half an hour out of your day to go and pick up your wife when you've got this deadline and you're trying to fulfill your deadline. Another example, one of the kids not doing so great at school. The headmaster, you know, invites the two parents in, or the teacher invites the parents in to have a discussion. You know, why is your kid not doing so great? What can we do? And after the meeting, a few things were discussed, and one of the things is to get a tutor. So the wife comes to the husband and says, you know what, really, we probably should get a tutor. What do you think? The husband responds by saying, yeah, whatever you think, honey. Yeah, if you think it's a good idea to get a tutor, then yeah, go ahead and get a tutor. Guys, this is not being manly. Being manly is saying, you know what? Yeah, I really do think that he does need help outside of school. I think it's a great idea to get a tutor. You know, have you got any ideas of who we can ask? You know, do you have any friends that have got kids that have, or I know this neighbor has got a kid that has a tutor on a weekly basis or a couple of times a week. Being more proactive in the conversation, in the decisions, this is what women are looking for, rather than, you know, just being wishy-washy. Yeah, that's a good idea. Yeah, whatever you think. Yeah, honey, that's great. That does not work. That is not being manly in a relationship. So, just a few tips. Being decisive, helping your wife to make a decision when things are when she brings an idea to the table. Being decisive, taking responsibility, and helping to move things forward in a positive way for the relationship, for oneself. These are all very masculine ways of being in relationship. And I think today many guys have issues with this. And I hope that this has given you some tips that are going to be helpful. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I hope to see you again soon.